Okay, so therefore the specific heat is nothing but it is heat given to a substance to of a mass of 1 kg to raise its temperature by 1 Kelvin. Okay, now that amount of heat we call it as specific heat. Okay, and this specific heat is constant for the material. Okay, so if you know the specific heat of an material, then you can identify the material. Okay, for an example, if this material, if I don't know its okay what kind of material it is, then very simple, let me calculate its specific heat. If I'm getting something around 386 joule per kg per Kelvin, then I can say that the given material is an copper like that. Okay. So if you're getting something around 900, that means it is an aluminum. Okay. Therefore, the specific heat is used for identification of an material. Okay. Now the question is how to find the specific heat. Okay. So we are going to find the specific heat of a material. Okay. So for that in our course, okay, so we are going to find the specific heat in okay, so we are solving a number of problems here by using the principle of calorimetry. Okay, by using the principle of calorimetry, so we are going to find the specific heat. Okay, so what is meant by calorimetry? So calorimetry is it is a larger, so it is a broad science. Okay, so for our discussion, we are using only its principle. So calorimetry is nothing but, so word itself says this calorimetry, it has two words. Okay, so one is calor and second word is something matter. Okay, so calor is a Greek word that means it is heat. Okay, that indicates an heat, and the matter, okay, so it is Latin word now that indicates measurement. Okay, so the clearly the word itself says that what is meant by calorimetry. Calorimetry is nothing but heat measurement. That means it is a measurement of an heat. Okay, so but so okay, so to measure the specific heat, okay, so we are using the principle of calorimetry, and principle of the calorimetry says that now the principle is very simple. Heat lost by the hot body, heat lost by the hot body is equal to heat gained by the cold body. Okay, so let me explain then what is meant by this heat lost by the hot body and heat gained by the cold body. Okay, let me assume that there is some system is there. Okay, so in that system, let me assume only two materials are there, the material A and material B. Okay, it is a complete isolated system, and that is in an isolated system only two materials are there, material A and material B. Okay, let me take the temperature of material A as Ta and the temperature of material B as Tb. Okay, let me assume that temperature of A is greater than temperature of B. Okay, if the temperature of A become greater than temperature of B, then we call A as hot body and B as cold body. Okay, as you know that this hot and cold are relative. Okay, if we take two substances, if the temperature of one is greater than temperature of other, then you can say that the material having the higher temperature, you call it as hot body, and the temperature having lower okay, the body having the lower temperature, you call it as cold body. Okay, for an example, if you stand in front of an ice, okay, so then so you are considered to be an hot body and ice is considered to be an cold body. So heat flows from your body to ice. Okay, or if you stand in front of a fire, okay, then in that case that fire is an hot body and you becomes an cold body. Okay, therefore hotness and coldness are relative. Okay, you're comparing one with another like this. Okay, so if I assume that the temperature of A is greater than temperature of B, then A is called hot body and B is called cold body. Okay, you know that what is meant by heat energy? It is an energy. Okay, it is an energy, okay, which flows from body A to body B, one material to other material due to relative of temperature. Okay, that is nothing but heat energy. Okay, you can easily see that the body A has more temperature compared to body B, therefore body A is an hot body, body B is an cold body, therefore heat flows from body A to body B. Now, this is the usual phenomenon of the flow of heat. Heat always flow from higher temperature to lower temperature. Okay, so for an example, if this is something around 80 degrees centigrade, okay, so if this one is 60 degrees centigrade, then heat flows from body A to body B. Okay, as you know that if the body loses the heat, okay, if you stand in front of an ice or if you touch then okay, so slab of ice, okay, so if you touch this slab of ice, after few seconds you feel coldness. Okay, reason is because compared to ice, you are the hot body, therefore heat is flowing from your body to the ice, therefore the heat comes out from your body, you are losing the heat energy. As you are losing the heat energy, your temperature is decreasing. Okay, whereas if you look at the ice slab, that ice slab is somewhat melting. Why it is melting? Because it is gaining the heat energy. Okay, as it is gaining the heat energy, its temperature is somewhat greater than 0 degree centigrade, therefore it start melting. Therefore if the body A loses the heat, then its temperature decreases. If the body B gains the heat, then temperature increases. Okay, so after few seconds you can see that the temperature of this one becomes 75 degree, so this becomes 65 degree. Okay, so slowly the temperature of the body is falling and the temperature of body B is raising until the temperature of the both body becomes same. Okay, let me take something. Okay, so something around mm, something around 72 degrees centigrade. Okay, if the temperature of the body A becomes 72 degrees centigrade, the temperature of the body B is also 72 degree centigrade, then heat doesn't flows from A to B or B to A. Okay, so this simple statement is considered to be an principle of calorimetry. Okay, so principle, what is meant by principle of calorimetry? Heat flows from hot body to cold body until their temperatures become equal, so that heat lost by the hot body is equal to heat gained by the cold body. Now this is a very simple principle. Heat lost by the hot body heat lost by the hot body is equal to heat heat gained by the cold body. Okay, so when you keep two materials having the different temperatures, if they are kept in contact, then heat flows from hot body to cold body until their temperatures become equal. And we can say that if the system is completely isolated, if there are only two materials, then we can see that heat lost by the hot body is equal to heat gained by the cold body. Okay, so let me solve one example on it.
Okay, so it is an example 11.3. A sphere of aluminum 0.047 kg placed for a sufficient time in a vessel containing boiling water so that the sphere is at 100 degrees centigrade. It is then immediately transferred to 0.15 kg copper calorimeter containing 0.25 kg of water at 20 degrees centigrade. The temperature of the water rises and attains a steady state at 23 degree centigrade. Now question is, calculate the specific heat of aluminum. They have given the specific heat of water as well as the specific heat of copper.
Okay, so let me solve that problem now. Okay, so it is given a sphere of aluminum 0.047 kg is placed for sufficient time in a vessel containing boiling water so that the sphere is at 100 degree centigrade. Okay, so initially the temperature of the sphere is 100 degree centigrade. Okay, it is then immediately transferred to 0.15 kg of copper calorimeter containing 0.25 kg of water at 20 degree centigrade. Okay, so you have the two scenario. No? So in one side, you have some boiling water. Okay, so where the temperature is 100 degree centigrade, and you have one aluminum sphere whose mass is 0.047 kg. Okay, on the other side, you have a copper calorimeter. So what is calorimeter? See, to measure the heat, we are using some instrument. Now that instrument is called a calorimeter. Usually it is made up of copper, therefore it is called copper calorimeter. Okay, so it's a copper calorimeter. Okay, so 0.14 kg of copper calorimeter now containing some water, okay, and the temperature is at 20 degrees centigrade. Now this is copper. So in copper container you have an water and the temperature is 20 degree centigrade. Okay, one side you have an aluminum sphere at 100 degrees centigrade, on the other side you have copper and water which is at 20 degree centigrade. Okay, in the next step is you are, okay, so now you are putting this aluminum sphere, okay, in the water in the second case. Okay, so copper is there, now aluminum is there, now this one is water. Initially what is the temperature of the water? 20 degrees centigrade. And what is initially what is the temperature of aluminum? It is 100 degree centigrade. Okay, and the given question is we have to find the specific heat of aluminum. Okay, they have given the specific heat of water and the specific heat of copper, and we have to find the specific heat of aluminum. Okay, so by using the principle of calorimetry. Okay, now this method is also called as method of mixture. Okay, this particular method is called method of mixture. What is meant by method of mixture? So you are adding unknown specific heat with a known specific heat, and you are finding the unknown specific heat. Okay, now such kind of methods we call as method of mixtures. Okay, you are finding one material by mixing with, okay, now that material is unknown, so you are finding the nature of one material by mixing with other material whose nature is known, and you are finding the unknown material. Okay, now that is called method of mixture. In this case we are adding the material having an unknown specific heat with the materials having the known specific heat, and we are finding the specific heat of unknown material. It is called method of mixture. Okay, so let me first write the data here. Okay, so the given, so okay, so what is given here? Given number one, they have given the, okay, so mass of aluminum sphere is given, that is equal to 0.047 kg. Okay, so its initial temperature is given, so that can be this initial temperature is something 100 degree centigrade. Okay, then they have given the mass of copper. The mass of the copper is 0.14 kg. Okay, and the mass of water is 0.25 kg. Okay, initially both are at the same temperature, that is at 20 degrees centigrade. Okay, and they given the specific heat of copper is given. Okay, how much it is? So the specific heat of copper is 386 joule per kg Kelvin, and they have given the specific heat of water, and the specific heat of water is 4180 joule per kg Kelvin. Okay, and we have to find the specific heat of aluminum. Okay, now see here, so we are using the principle of calorimetry. Okay, so here in this case aluminum is a hot body and water and copper are the cold bodies. Okay, aluminum has a temperature of 100 degree, water and copper are having the temperature of 20 degree, therefore they are the cold body. Okay, so now what happens here? Very simple, heat flows from aluminum. Okay, because aluminum is a hot body, heat flows from aluminum to the, okay, water and copper until they have given, until, okay, so this temperature falls here until the temperatures become equal, and finally they attain a steady temperature of 23 degrees centigrade. Finally all three, that aluminum, copper and water, they attain a temperature of 23 degrees centigrade. Okay, so up to that point heat flows from aluminum to copper and water. Okay, so here, so this is our final temperature. 100 becomes 23 and 20 becomes 23. Okay, who is the hot body here? Aluminum is the hot body. And what does the principle of calorimetry says? That heat lost by the hot body should be equal to heat gained by the cold body. Okay, so first let me find heat lost by the hot body. Heat lost by the hot body. Who is the hot body here? Aluminum. Therefore heat lost by the aluminum sphere. Aluminum sphere. Okay, heat lost by the aluminum sphere is equal to, okay, what is the formula for heat? Okay, so amount of heat given to the body, now that formula is In the last lecture, we already studied this formula. Delta Q is equal to what? So amount of heat given to the body depends on mass. It depends on the specific heat, and it also depends on the change of temperature. So what's the formula for heat? Amount of heat given to the body, delta Q is equal to M into S into delta T. Okay, so let me use here. Okay, so that is mass of the aluminum into specific heat of aluminum into change of temperature. Okay, so what is mass of the aluminum? Okay, so it is mass of the aluminum sphere. The mass of the aluminum sphere is 0.047 kg. Okay, so what is the specific heat of aluminum? It is unknown. Okay, so that is our question. And what is delta T? Delta T is the change in temperature. What is change in temperature? Initially, it has a temperature of 100. Now it is 23. Okay, so the finally it becomes 23. Therefore, the change of temperature is given by 100 minus 23 degrees centigrade. Okay, 100 minus 23 degree centigrade. Okay, so okay, so let me take in a, okay, so let me call it as some equation number 1, or left here only. So it is nothing but heat lost by the aluminum sphere. Heat lost by the aluminum sphere is 0.047 into specific heat of aluminum into 100 minus 23. Now that should be equal to heat gain by the cold body. Now who are the cold bodies here? Water as well as the copper. Okay, because both are having the low temperature. Therefore, this okay, so they absorb this amount of heat. Okay, so therefore heat gain by one I have to calculate heat gain by the water. Heat gain by the water, that is equal to again, what is the formula? Mass into specific heat into change in temperature. That means mass of the water multiplied by specific heat of water multiplied by change in temperature. Okay, so what is mass of the water? The mass of the water is 0.25. Okay, what is specific heat of the water? 4180. And what is the change of temperature? Change. Initially the temperature is 20. Now they have attained a temperature of 23 degrees centigrade. So what is the change of temperature? That is nothing but 23 minus 20. Okay, so if I calculate 0.25, okay, so if I calculate this one, okay, so it is 0.25 into 4180 into 3. I'm getting something around 3135 joules. Okay, now it is heat gain by the water. Okay, similarly we have to find the heat gain by the copper. So heat gain by the copper calorimeter. Heat gain by the copper calorimeter, that should be equal to what? Mass of copper. Okay, mass of copper into specific heat of copper, again into change of temperature. Okay, so what is mass of the copper? The mass of the copper is 0.14 into specific heat of copper is 386 into the change of temperature is said 23 minus 20. Okay, again if you calculate this quantity, so it is 0.14 into 386 multiplied by 3, so that gives me the value of, okay, 162.12. Approximately I can write it as 162 joule. Okay, so now I use the principle of calorimetry. Okay, so the principle of calorimetry says that, okay, if I use the principle of calorimetry, okay, so using the principle of calorimetry, it means the principle of calorimetry, it says that heat lost by the hot body is equal to heat gained by the cold body. heat lost by the hot body is equal to heat gain by the cold body. Okay, so what is heat lost by the hot body? Heat lost by the hot body is, who is hot body? Aluminium. Therefore, it is 0.047 into specific heat of aluminium into 100 minus 23. Okay, something around 77. Okay, is correct. So that should be equal to what? Heat gain by the cold body. Who are the cold bodies here? Water as well as calorimeter. Therefore, it is 3135 plus 162. Okay, if you calculate these terms here, okay, if I goes on calculate like this, so it becomes 3135 plus 162. Okay, so this is something around 3297. Okay, on the other side it is 0.047 into 77, so 3.619 into specific heat of aluminium. Therefore, the specific heat of aluminium is 3297 divided by 3.619. Therefore, 3297 divided by, yes, that gives me something around the specific heat of aluminium. I am getting something around 911 unit is joule per kg Kelvin. Okay, so therefore, by using the principle of calorimetry, we can find the specific heat of unknown material. Okay.